In 1945, World War II ended. Even before the last shots were fired, countries all over the world decided they didn't want another world war. To help prevent a World War III, 51 nations came together and formed an international organization called the United Nations, or the UN. The UN was formed to maintain international peace, help countries solve transnational issues, and promote human rights, among many other things. Headquartered in New York City, it now consists of 193 member states and influences the world in countless ways. The United Nations is organized with 5 main organs. The largest one is the UN General Assembly, which is the principal policy-making organ and is made up of all 193 member states. It creates the policy and mandates that other organs and international agencies have to follow. Every September, the full General Assembly meets in New York to debate and vote on major policy issues, with every nation getting 1 vote. Decisions on peace and security, budgetary matters, and new member states require a 2/3 majority to be passed, while other votes only need a simple majority. The UN Security Council is the most powerful of the main organs. It is responsible for maintaining international peace and security. The Council at any one time has 15 members. 5 of these, China, France, Russia, the United Kingdom, and the United States, are permanent members who each hold veto power over the entire Security Council, while the other 10 are member states who are each elected by the General Assembly to serve 2-year terms. Every UN member state is required to comply with Security Council decisions. The Council can impose economic sanctions and arms embargoes on countries that refuse to comply. The Security Council also has the authority to authorize peacekeeping and military operations if needed. The Economic and Social Council is the 3rd main organ of the UN, and it is responsible for the coordination of economic, humanitarian, and environmental policy. It consists of 53 members, who are all elected by the General Assembly for 3-year terms. The Economic and Social Council is also the primary UN forum for sustainable development, and it oversees UN agencies that work with all of these issues. The International Court of Justice, which is the only main organ not based in New York, is the primary court of international law and is located in The Hague, Netherlands. The court is the judicial organ of the UN and is responsible for settling legal disputes between member states and giving advisory opinions on other legal issues. The court has 15 judges, each elected by the General Assembly for a 9-year term. Finally, the UN Secretariat is the organ that carries out the daily work of the United Nations. It is led by the Secretary General of the UN, who serves as the Chief Administrative Officer and is appointed by the General Assembly. The Secretariat includes tens of thousands of UN workers and staffers all over the world and has various departments and offices relating to particular specialties. These 5 main organs are the central parts of the UN that support global UN operations. The United Nations is not a government, and it does not have the authority to make laws. It instead acts as a central authority for the implementation of international agreements, which creates a system of international law. There are many UN agencies that have a tremendous impact on global relations. These include well-known ones like the World Health Organization, the Office of Drugs and Crime, and the World Bank. The UN is funded by its member states, and every state is responsible for supporting the UN. This includes sending members of its armed forces to act as UN peacekeepers and complying with all UN decisions and laws. For a country to become a member of the United Nations, it needs to be recommended by the UN Security Council with a 9 out of 15 vote and voted for with a 2/3 majority vote in the General Assembly. To recap, the United Nations is an international organization that was created shortly after World War II to maintain world peace and security. It has five main organs: the General Assembly, which has 193 member states and is the primary policymaking body; the Security Council, which maintains international security; the Economic and Social Council, which deals with economic, humanitarian, and environmental policy; the International Court of Justice, which is the judicial body that interprets international law; and the Secretariat, which is headed by the Secretary General of the UN and is responsible for carrying out UN policy around the world.